Hey there, entrepreneurs. My name is Sushant, and welcome to TrepTalks. Today, I am really excited to welcome Dylan Lam to the show. Dylan is the founder of Omirank. Omirank helps e-commerce businesses run successful crowdfunding campaigns and validate new product ideas. They also provide businesses comprehensive support from start to finish, including market research and validation, product development, crowdfunding campaign management, and digital marketing, as well as helping to scale the business post-crowdfunding campaign success. And today I'm going to ask Dylan a few questions about his entrepreneur journey and some of the strategies and tactics that he has used to start and grow his business. So Dylan, thank you so much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate your time.
I'm stoked to be here. Honor is all mine.
Awesome. So we were just chatting and you were telling me a little bit about your business. So maybe we can get started with a little bit about your story. Can you share a little bit, how you got into entrepreneurship? What kind of motivated you to get into, starting your own business?
Sure. Um, so, uh, when I started e-commerce while I was in university, while I was studying, like I almost failed my dissertation. Long story short, right?
Okay.
It's just like we started on eBay. We At that time I was like bringing 30 parcels to the Royal Mail office, and then like I just keep labeling them, and then the whole every single day I'm carrying 2 bags of like bags, and then like within that the whole when I'm and I'm on the one wheel as well. So I ride my one wheel. It's like an electronic personal vehicle, and I ride that into the post office, and then like I lay down all the parcel on the floor. I print all the stickers, and then I just take each of them one by one. So by that time, like a month later, every single person in there, they know about me already, because that guy is special with the one wheel, with all the parcel, with labeling, right? So that's how I get started. Like, and then I just realized, oh no, eBay is like a lot of hassles I have to do by myself every single day. So I move on to Amazon FBA. On FBA, they will fulfill the product for me, and then I don't have to do a lot of like um, uh, sending those products to my student accommodation. I was living in third floor. I literally have to get the pallet into the lift and then go into the third floor. Okay, anyway, so that time I was like bootstrapping the whole thing from 0 to 6 figures, and then I want to bridge to the 7 figures, and that's why I started offering PPC services to Chinese seller. And then by the time that we are accepting people from China to come to us, and then we'll run PPC for them. And then start slowly, the time goes by. 3 years later, we got like around 50 to 80 of client, and then our agency grew from just like me into maybe 30. No, I think that was like 25 people. Right now we have like 50 people in our team already. So
Wow.
this is how we get started for Omirank. And then we realized that a lot of them, they need external traffic to gain competitive edge. So we help them to set up stores on Shopify, WooCommerce, and we help them to start running external traffic from chatbot, from deal site. Now we realize branding is important, because it's the next big things right now on selling on e-commerce, right? If you're not running a brand, you're just going to be outsmart by the competitors eventually. And that's why we using crowdfunding as a tool to help sellers to build brands.
Awesome. I mean, that's such an interesting thing, and I mean that's the way to do it. Like if you're a student, I think you probably and of course if you're interested in business, I think you'll probably learn more by starting your own business, trying to sell something than just going by to the school itself. So very, very interesting story. So you said that you are now working primarily with Amazon sellers. Can you share like what are kind of the big challenges that Amazon sellers are facing? So I would assume that 10 years ago probably there was less competition, right? And you can go list your product and you can get their traffic to come and buy from you, right? Amazon traffic. Now I'm assuming there's probably a lot more competition. Amazon probably charges a very high fees as well, like if you're using FBA and things like that. So in your experience, when you're working with these Amazon sellers, like what are the big challenges that they're coming to you with?
All right. That's a very good question because back in the days, like I started e-commerce like 2014 or 13, like I could have just scaled to 6 figures just like a snap because um, people can just come, we can just buy, sell, and then we'll just buy again from the from the inventory, and then for the inventory, and then like you sell almost our stock immediately. That was the time that e-commerce is booming, right? And then right now, e-commerce is still booming. It's just still like increasing the market the market share compared like trying to beat over retail because the after COVID happened, those consumer purchase habit, consumer buying habit has changed over the time, and everyone knows about Amazon Prime or Walmart or Etsy, all those things. So the biggest problem that they have been facing is more on the inventory, like having launched a product right now compared to the past, you have to store 3 months worth of inventory. Whereas like in the past, if you don't have 3 months worth of inventory, you would just rent out stock, right? Same as right now, but then the threshold is like more higher, like 4 months or 4.5 months, because there will be delay in logistic, there will be custom hold up, and that's why some of the seller may go up to 6 months as well when it comes to inventory. And there's a lot of like systematic risk as well, that you get suspension from the platform. Like I remember like back in the days, like I was suspending from Amazon, and then I was suspending from Facebook because of the ad containing other keyword that I shouldn't be containing, which you have no idea what keyword is that. And then like on chatbot as well, in ManyChat, like they restricted from the policy of you can sending mass message from 24 hours rule. And then in Amazon, there's a lot of like gray term of service, those gray hack, what we call them. And then they will turn them into black hat, because in the past they will try to restrict all the policies, and that's why a gray hat or a white hat can become a black hat in all settings. And then you will create, and then you will get the POA, which is plan of action, that your account will get suspended, and then your keyword will dropped, and then you have your plan of action, and you still might not be able to get your account back. That's the problem in the Amazon seller. And then like the problem here is like example is like we are not building a real brand when it comes to selling on Amazon. I once asked my friend, if your customer referring to their friend, where did they buy your product from? Would they say they got it from Amazon, or they're gonna buy it from your brand? Right? Let's say your brand is ABC. They will for sure say Amazon, because they thought they are an Amazon brand, but not a ABC brand. So that's a problem. And that's why we started understanding to really get an edge in the market, you really have to know how to do the branding by owning the asset, by creating a community in order to get them to buy from you again for the repeat purchases. So that's a challenge that they have, no matter from systematic risk or non-systematic risk, or inventory and cash flow and branding. Those are mainly all the challenges that like right nowadays to build a e-commerce, we have to all face.
Yeah. I think in the consumer products category, either you are, if you are selling a product, either you have to come up with something very different than what's existing in the market, like your value proposition is, much better than the existing product in the category, or you have to, as you said, build a brand, right? Like you have to, if there's 5 products that look the same, that function the same, you have to create a brand where people can recognize your product, and that brand could be like, maybe your customer service that you offer, that, I'm giving you the best customer service, things like that. So it's a very good point that you bring up, that branding is kind of the differentiator in e-commerce today. So with that in mind, Can you walk me through like a process of a client coming to you with an idea, I have X product, right? How do you kind of go about advising them or helping them with this entire process of helping them build the brand and then getting them on Amazon and also, helping them to drive traffic and sales?
Right, right. So it all start with an idea, right? A lot of clients, they come to us like they might have an idea, which is not going to be a problem because we have a lot of case studies showing that idea we can generate it easily by using different method. Like with our proprietary method right now, using AI, using keyword depth, keyword gap, or maybe search volume, or maybe cross sell or upsell from his existing portfolio, and then we will be able to easily come up with a idea easily, right? We can talk about the case study later on. The case study really shows that like how we can able to by helping them from no product into like a very successful product. But then when they come to us, of course, it's idea first, and then we develop the product. And then the unique things that we are doing is we validate the product first. By the mean of validation, we're not just talking about looking at the search traffics, looking at the keyword gap. No, not all that. We really put them into Facebook testing. So that's the thing. Like I come from a dropshipping background where before when I was back in uni, like I do dropshipping as well in that time, and then I do a lot of like a testing of a campaign. Say we got like 20 product, and then you get maybe only one product that is winning, right? And that's why testing product is a thing is like engraved in me already. Like we keep testing product. Whereas on Amazon seller, the nowadays approach is always preaching, just thinking about the keyword gap and all the search volume or just a minor tweak, right? Yeah, all those things would get you an edge in the Amazon marketplace. But what if you're off Amazon? If you're off Amazon, have we been testing whether or not the messaging, the angle, or the creative, what resonate to them? Because eventually, when you run PPC or like display ad or video ad on Amazon, there is a max, there is like a cap, right? For you to drive more traffic, you have to rely on external, either from affiliate marketing, either from influencer outreach, or either from any sort of like a deal site, like to drive you there. But then the most and quick way is always the external traffic from pay ad, right? And that's why we to really know whether or not the product works, we really validate the product first. If they are having any potential to drive external traffic, right? And if that product still didn't find the message, we will keep tweaking until, when I mean tweaking, I mean tweaking the product features, right? We tweak the font features, we tweak the color, right? We have a designer here to just keep heavy changing the color, or the look of it, or maybe from a USB-C to USB-A, or maybe from USB-A to free USB-C, etc. Right? And then we just help you manipulate the images and find the right message that resonates to the audience, right? And then we will eventually come up with the right idea, the right angle that resonate to the a buyer, right? So we create enough engagement while we are creating the community as well, because they are seeing you how you develop the product. So that's the hardworking part when it comes to the validation stage, from research to validate to pre-launch to generate a list of product, a list of email to use for the hype when it comes to launching the product on the launch day, right? And then after the launch day, until that day, they still don't have to invest in cash at all. And that's the thing. When you launch on Amazon, you have to invest in 30 days of inventory or 90 days of inventory immediately. But then with us, when you start with crowdfunding, you get the money first from Kickstarter, and then you go on to place your order with your manufacturer, right? The flexibility just like limitless, because when you sell on Amazon, you're limited by the product look and shape immediately. But then if you are on crowdfunding, you can still tweak things. You can send out the order later, maybe a year later. It's still legit to do that, as you're not running away from after you get the money.
Yeah.
So we help them to improve the cash flow. We help them improve the inventory, the storage fee as well, making sure that they are validated, they're building a brand, an email list, and then community that can be used for a second launch. Right? The more you launch, the easier it's going to get because you
Okay.
got your community that you've built already.
Okay.
And that is essentially, we call it the future-proof product launch formula, because without this formula, you are stuck with just selling on Amazon and you're just another Amazon brand.
That makes a lot of sense. So basically, you use a crowdfunding platform, you put the product. Basically, you don't necessarily need to have a product, but you can use the photos and the copy, and you tweak it to figure out until if people are kind of engaging with it, and kind of contributing to your campaign. And then once your campaign is successful, then of course you take that money and you invest on product, and then you go about fulfilling the orders and things like that. So that, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's a great way to risk manage your product launch and also business. What is I guess my next question would be more from a crowdfunding perspective as well. So I'm assuming even on the crowdfunding platforms, there's probably a lot of competition now, or a lot of people who are kind of coming up with new ideas and running crowdfunding campaigns. Is there a challenge on these platforms to get your campaign views from people? Like, what can you do so that when you launch that campaign for validating your idea, that you are actually ensuring that people are actually viewing that page? Is there a challenge in that?
Right. To ensuring the campaign is being viewed, the page. Right. So let's talk about what does it mean by successful in the past and what does it mean by successful between like now. Because back in the day, crowdfunding, before they no one knows a lot about it, it was used to a heaven for all the product creator, because you could just put a product in there, and then without marketing, without a lot of effort, you will generate maybe a few hundred K in a sudden, right? Like the landscape right now is different, because when people understand the maturity of the market, like there's a lot of choices. You can launch, you can get an innovative product, maybe on Amazon as well, or Etsy, or Pinterest as well. So people have choices, and there's a lot of label saying that Kickstarter is scam, because once they get the money, they will just run away. So all those things, it just became a core challenge when it comes to Kickstarter, right? But that doesn't mean that Kickstarter doesn't work. We have a lot of cases that it works, because we don't treat Kickstarter as in like a platform that you just put a product and that's it. We really put in all the hard work, and then we make sure that you will get the eyeball from the hype that you're building. We are a marketer plus product innovator right now when it comes to our role on the Kickstarter as an e-commerce seller. Okay, so how to get eyeball to the listing page, right? So we do pre-launch, right? Before the pre-launch, we do this validation, right? During the validation, that's the thing that I didn't talk earlier on, is when we do validation, we already come with a group that who are willing to develop the product with you. As in that you keep sending survey, you keep asking feedback, right? And then that's where you first generate the first hype. Okay, and after the first hype, you build the community while you're doing pre-launch campaign. So during the pre-launch stage, we will be testing audience, as in prospecting, as in like let's say it's a phone, like you might go on to office worker, you might go on to tennis user, or maybe just let's say iPad user, because it's Apple, right? So by testing all the different prospect, you will able to come with different audience, and then you will use different images and angle to get hyping up your phone. and then you will put them into a group, right? Then that's where you build a second stage of hype, which is a community, right? We use group infiltration by having us to go into other group to talk about the product in a indirect way to get them to put them into our group. We use pay ad to speak to them, resonate with them, and come to our group. And then we use content to nurture them for our email, for our chatbot, and for our group posting. And that, when it comes to launch day, they are the one who are the major force who will help you achieve your launch goal in maybe just the first hours. I mean, I've launched a campaign that achieved the goal in just half an hour. This is like the power of hype, right?
Okay.
Okay, so that would be the launch day eyeballing skill. But then after the launch day, like maybe let's say on the second day, third day, fifth stage, we collaborate with people, right? We collaborate with affiliate marketer. There is like a lot of affiliate marketer that are always look out for a new product, right? Blogger, or maybe a YouTube influencer, or maybe press release, right? We call this a snowball effects because by the day when you launch the product and when you hit the goal, and then you got a few influencers who are mentioned about that already, then we start pitching the big media outlet like Verge or Android Police, like all those media outlet, seeing you having success from the past and seeing people talking about it, and they know the buzz, and that's why they were willing to talk about your product, right? And of course, we have a PR network as well that they were willing to talk to editor because of the things that we have been doing. So the snowball effects is real, and that's why we have to do a lot of preparation beforehand to pull in all our traffic on the launch day, get a success, and then you can have a lot of leveraging power after that, right?
Okay.
For the press release or for other things. And then of course, like the main traffic is still your ad because you have tested all the things already before. You know what angle to which thing. Well, during the prospecting stage, you're just prospecting. You haven't scaled your ad yet, right? After that, you start scaling your ad with all the lookalike audience, with all the UTM, and then the conversion API, so you can do remarketing on Facebook. Remarketing on YouTube and Google as well, right? So that is how we are able to create ecosystem during the launch day. It's like Facebook retargeting from Google audience, Google remarketing from Facebook audience. We even ran a native ad as well on Taboola. No jokes, and it's really working because people really love to like article style to convince people to come back to Kickstarter, and that works, right? Yeah, there's a lot of tactic that I can go for, but I think that we have enough time to talk about that. Yeah,
definitely. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. You do a pre-launch where you kind of create the buzz, then you launch on and make sure that the traffic from the pre-launch comes to the site. They make your campaign successful, and then you go from there, and then you kind of scale that into ongoing success. That makes a lot of sense for sure. In terms of your clients, like, do you focus on certain product categories? Like, do you have an ideal client, or you can basically, anybody who comes with their product, you can look at, yes, this is the problem that I'm trying to solve. This is the product, and you can kind of adapt to that.
It's a very good question because a lot of people think that launching on Kickstarter has to be very innovative. If you're not innovative enough, then that is not going to drive any sales. True in the extent that that for Amazon seller is not true. As in, like, if you're already developing product, then you already get a competitive edge about that. Because I'm gonna give you some case study. Okay, so there's a bottle called Ringo. So Ringo is actually a bottle, just a bottle with MagSafe, right? Because right now there's a lot of MagSafe product. So they replace the cap with a MagSafe phone stand, and then that is already a product that go onto Amazon. It generates 300K, right? And right now it's selling on Amazon for, I think, about last time I checked, it's like 10K a month. So that was last time I checked when they have no reviews. When they have reviews, I doubt 10K is the time, right? So that one little tweak is about connecting the consumer behavior, shifting macro behavior trend because of the technology advancement, right? Because technology advancement always happen, right? Where iPhone have MagSafe, and that's why you put a MagSafe with a bottle, right? And that is how they come with a new product, right? Is it innovative? No, it's not innovative. It's like we're just combining things. We are just connecting things, connecting the dot. And that is what exactly Amazon seller knows the best. They always know how to improve a product. They know how to create a new bundle, a new color, new material, or new functionality, right? So that if you think that is still hard, okay, I'm gonna give you one example that is like that is just mind blown. Okay, so there's a brand called Missing. Missing is actually a brand that who create a baking tray, a modular baking tray. Okay, so um, so it's cheat sheet and Missing. Okay, so that baking tray that they are doing is they do 3 million. Okay, they are
Wow.
the first comer in Kickstarter. They do 3 million of the modular baking tray. Okay, it was amazing, right? Because they got like they got this is not the first time they launched on Kickstarter. They got email list already, right? But this is not. I want to tell you. What I want to tell you is the second brand called Cheat Sheet, right? Cheat Sheet come in looking at the first comer baking tray, feel like, oh shit, this is a bit like not quite convenient. So they just added a handle to the baking tray, and they generated 100K with that product, right? So it's 3 million compared to 100K. You can say that 100K is not as successful. It's second comer, right? But no, the opportunity behind is so huge because you created a brand, you created a opportunity for you to go into the kitchen niche, right? And then you also created a audience that you can use in the future, and all the creative asset you can already use in Kicks on Amazon or Etsy or eBay in the future, right? And that the story here is not just about Kickstarter or it's not just about first comer or second comer. It's all about taking the leap to try to do one thing that is different, and you will still gain result, right? Yeah. Maybe do you want a second case study? Maybe there's a lot of them that I can share.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you have more, I mean, I'm curious to know. I mean, this baking tray idea definitely seems very interesting. Have you seen any products or any clients where, you know, when you look at the product, it's like just like any other commodity, like very general item, but then when you launch it, you know, it really created a huge revenue for the client.
Yeah. So how about OSnap or PopSocket? Do you know what's PopSocket, right? PopSocket is actually the phone holder, like where you put it back and then you pop it out and you put your finger. So that's PopSocket, right? And then there's a company called OSnap who come in. They added magnet behind, and then they make the thing behind like a bit thinner, and then they just put it on Amazon. Sorry, I mean they put it on Kickstarter, and then they are just like getting, I think, 1.5 million at that time, right? So do you remember, like I was talking about just a baking tray, they get 3 million, and then but then with the OSnap and PopSocket, still amazing, they got 1 million, but it's 3 million against 1 million. So there's no like hard and true answer saying that is it has to be commodity or is it has to be innovative to in order to get a huge amount of audience. What we are aiming for is always do what the seller want to do. The seller might want to launch aggressively, which means that they have to invest more ad. The seller wants to provide minimal budget and want to launch it profitably, which is good, but then you will aim to have a lower amount of revenue, right? So, but some of them, it's just about the name, and they want to build a brand out of it. They want to use that portfolio to go to retail distribution, and that's why they have like 100K, 200K of ad spend that could go up to 3 million, right? So that is the story behind it. Depends on the strategy that they want to go for, and then we'll side by side go on with them. Either we is the course that they're taking from us, or either the coaching call that will just advise them what to do next, right? Maybe one more case study, as in this is what we do, storytelling. We help client to turn the exact product that was launched on Kickstarter that generated 38K in the past is a baking stone. Okay, so baking stone is like a stone that you put into oven, and then it will heat up your product, your food more evenly, and then it can cook it faster, right? So what we do is we launch the same thing. Okay, that was a steel, but right now we are a marble, right? Which is like, I don't see there's a big difference. It's just like a color changes, but then the fundamental is just the same, just baking stone. But then the way that we help them do is, compared to the last campaign, this campaign we got like I think 130K, yeah, 130K, and then we were helping them to dissect all the benefit and to elaborate all the story, as in like why you need this, how can this benefit help you while you're cooking. By doing this storytelling part, we turn a same product from 38K to 130K, right? But of course, there's a catch. We have they have launched a product in the past with us, and that baking product is a second product, and that's why they were having a huge success even before they have to invest in too much on the ad. So the essence here is, even not the same I mean, even if you can launch the same product with no change, you can still generate a huge amount of revenue, right?
So are you so you are saying that the more, if the goal is to keep on building, keep on bringing revenue, it's important to continue to do launches again and again. So it could be the same product, maybe something a little bit different, and you are launching that. So it's like, you're coming up with variation of products, or you're coming up with, maybe new products, but the idea to kind of continue to drive revenue, new revenue, is continue to do new launches. Is that
That's right.
would that be correct? Yeah.
Yeah, our motto is always be launching, always be launching. Because the reason behind that is, when it comes to Kickstarter, of course you got the email list, okay, but then think about the recurring backers. If you're on Kickstarter, you are likely to be buying recurringly from the same brand, right? So the statistic that we have is 25%. 25% who bought your product in the past who buy from you again. Okay, whereas on Shopify you only get maybe 10% or less. Okay? So for that fact, that's why you want to launch a second product. The better you, the second campaign, that people love your product, they will always buy from you again. And we help client to develop a product that is similar to the first product, that is compatible, right? And that's why it's not, I mean, people from the past, they bought the first product, they always want to buy a second product to make it an ecosystem, right? And thirdly, Kickstarter sending out email for us as well. So you have your email list, you send email, and when you make an update on the old campaign, Kickstarter send out email on behalf of you as a campaign creator, and that's why you get 2 touch point in all sudden, right? If you send one more email, you got 4 touch point, right? So because one more email is like your email, Kickstarter email, and then the second one is your email, second email, and then you got 4 touch point. You heard that like 7 touch point to convert one buyer. That's so true, and that's why when you use the message update correctly, you will really create the hype without too much effort, right? And that's the reason behind. Like the Kickstarter email is just gorgeous because you don't have to care about the DKIM, SFP, or all the reputation that you need to do. Kickstarter is doing that for you already, and whoever who are taking a Kickstarter newsletter, they're likely to open your newsletter as well because they used to bought from you, right? Yeah. So that is the idea behind of, once you launch the first time, the second time it's going to be way more easier.
I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think you kind of mentioned it before, but if somebody is looking for a new product idea, they should go and find what's existing, what's doing really well in the market on Amazon or somewhere else, and try to find a way to improve it and then launch it yourself. I think that's a good way to find to kind of ensure that you're going to have a good launch, I guess.
It is, yeah.
What is your So a client comes to work with you. What is your kind of billing structure, your pricing structure? Like, what can they expect from you in terms of, because you're kind of taking their idea and bringing it to market and making revenue for you. Like, do you kind of charge them percentage fee? Do you charge them flat rate fee? Is it, different for every client? Can you share a little bit about your, how
It's different.
clients work for you?
Yeah, it's different than every client, for every client, because different client have different need for the product they're developing. If they're creating a backpack involved with a lot of like moving part in there, the buckle, the zip, the backpacks where you solve them, solving from left and right, right? So it depends on like how manufacturer we're working with. It depends on like a lot of like QC or different kind of like inspection that we are doing. For them, it's like I really can't give a thing because everyone we customize it. But then I can give you a ballpark as in like we have a we will charge, because if you think about carefully, we are a sourcing company, in the same time we're a marketing company, and we are also like a advertising company, and then we are also helping them to maintain the storefront as well in the future, right? So each of the stage we charge them, and then for that amount that we are charging, it will be for that period of time. And then if you exceed that period of time, then we will just charge you additionally. And then if you're launching campaign, because we want to make sure that we are helping you the most, and then we are getting commission from the amount raised as well. So in different stage, we customize it differently to different people, depends on what they need. Some of the people, they don't need to develop a product. They just come to us to just launch a product. Some of the people will just come to us to just say, I need the pre-launch only from you guys. So that's why it's really hard to say the total budget, but then that is how we dissect into small stages for them.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about your team? I think you mentioned you have 15 or 50 people
50.
right now? 50.
50. Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk about, I mean, there's so many different aspects that you're helping people with, everything from creative to marketing to branding to, sourcing and so forth. Yeah, what does your team look like right now? Does everyone work from the same place? Is it kind of like a distributed team? And what kind of support you provide to the customer?
Yeah. So we have a team from Hong Kong, UK, and then Taiwan, China, and Philippines. Right. So that's where we all work. We all work virtually. And then in China, of course, it's like about inspection, and then it's about procurement and also product development as well. And there's like a project manager in Taiwan that connect the China team with the Philippine team, and the UK team is more on the cooperating and marketing, and then media buyer as well in the UK, and HR as well, spreading around. HR is in the Taiwan as well, and then also we have these like project managers spreading around different countries as well, because different countries have their own strength as well. Some of them shine, some of them like they are. But to be fair, I think it's like more on the person itself. The person itself, if you are talented enough, if you know how to communicate carefully and using logical manner to execute a task, then you will be assigned to a different position. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds really great. You've been in e-commerce and you've been working with clients for a bit now. Do you also do your own product launches? Like, is it profitable to sell on Amazon at all? Because there's so much competition, and I'm assuming Amazon takes a lot of fees. Like if a person has an idea for a product, or let's say they looked at the market and they came up with some sort of an improvement on an existing product, do you recommend people selling on marketplace like Amazon, or do you recommend they start their own website, their own thing, and sell it there, because probably the fees structure is much better there, right? The better profit margins.
Yeah, like on e-commerce, something like that. Yeah, that's a good question. Although like I hate Amazon, but then Amazon is still a place that like can drive a mass amount of like traction. So put it in this way, I would recommend you not to launch on Amazon, so you can easily not put all the egg in one basket. There's a lot of things that there's a lot of seller that make mistake launching on Amazon that end up like you are just ending up an Amazon brand. Whereas if you don't launch on Amazon, you're missing out a lot on the table as well, because there will be a lot of knockoff product become your competitor eventually, and then you will be losing your market share if you're just launching on your website, right? So that's why a hybrid way between crowdfunding to Amazon and to eventually you have to go to your website, right? Because it's a whole supply chain. So here's what I see. People start with dropshipping or Amazon. They all end up going to the same place, which is when you are going up to 7 figures or 9 figures, you always have to go your website, right? If you use 9 figures, you're still on Amazon, you're doomed because you could have get the account suspended just tomorrow easily, right? And that's why you can't afford not to diversify at the time, right? But then the earlier you diversify, the better it's going to be. I'm seeing my customer, it's going to be in 60 and 40. 60% is outside of Amazon and 40% is on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
So that is the healthiest portfolio. If I see that they start going back to 50 to Amazon, then I would use whatever mean to balance the traffic to make sure that the portfolio is still not fully on Amazon.
I think that makes a lot of sense, because it is definitely a risk because Amazon or any other marketplace, it's a different that's not your business. Like you're using their marketplace, so they have all the power in a way, right? They can kick you out, they can change their rules, they can increase their fees, and so it can like overnight have a huge impact on your business. So I think it makes a lot of sense to have 60% of your business that you kind of own on your own. So what is your like your own business? Of course, you're running this agency. What is kind of your future vision for this business? Are you looking to continue building this agency? Are you kind of doing your own e-commerce products? What is kind of, where do you see yourself and your business 5 years down the road?
So I'm a multiple 7-figure sellers. First, I want to say that, okay, because like I don't want to sell my brand. I want to continue to keep my brand. That's why we're offering service right now to bootstrap the brand to 8 figures, 9 figures. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, second thing is like for the whole agency thing, I'm seeing like an infrastructure. We hopefully that we can build this over the supply chain to help customer to really go into customization. Okay, so this I don't think not everyone know this concept, because what I'm predicting that the future consumer behavior is always in customization, because when everyone can offer the same thing, which will end up customized, which end up customize, whoever can customize who will win the market, right? And that's why I want to build in the future a warehouse that comes with highly customized operation that you can just send your product in and then we'll pick and pack in a way that is scalable. Okay.
Can I ask a question? When you say customization, can you give me an example of what that means? Like, does that mean that a customer can say, I want your product in color red or color black? Is that the customization, or is it something else?
Different shape, different accessory, different as in like a bundle. So right now you're offering bundle as in like a SKU itself. But right now, to make it highly customizable, we hope that we can achieve to, as in like you send in all your accessory to me, whenever your customer choose, we'll pick and pack for you into the bundle that they want. Whereas if you're not doing that, you are either fixed into just free bundle and there's some item in there, your customer might not want it. So that is the customizable solution that hopefully we can offer in the future.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, you work with other businesses, so I'm sure you've seen a lot of mistakes that other businesses make. Maybe you can share like one or two big mistakes that maybe you have made in your own business journey. You see other clients make big mistakes. And what can new entrepreneurs, new e-commerce entrepreneurs learn from them? Like, what are some of the big things you would want other entrepreneurs to avoid?
Selling on Amazon or selling on any marketplace without an aim, right? Because being an online seller, you're just making a minimum margin as an e-commerce seller, right? Because you are like getting all the fees to either Stripe, PayPal, Amazon, eBay, right? And that's why for them to really squeeze the margin out is always in the operation, right? Think about where can they optimize from the operation part they're doing, from the supply chain, from operation, or from the even the manufacturer side as well, that they have to build guanxi in order to get credit terms as well. Those add ups, right? Whereas if you just think about you could have just like sorry, what was the reason I was saying the first thing?
You were talking about how, because the margins, these Amazon marketplaces or payment platforms take away most of your margin. The only way for businesses to optimize it through operations.
Sorry, yeah. I was like, there's so much thing just coming to my mind. I just can't remember.
No worries, no worries. You can start over if you want. Yeah.
Let's do again at that part. Can you ask me again, please?
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, it's really about mistakes and failures, right? As business people, you don't always get everything right on the first try, right? And I'm sure you're working with a lot of clients, so you've seen others make a lot of mistakes. Like, what are some of the mistakes or failures you would want entrepreneurs to avoid?
Oh yeah, selling with an aim, right?
Yeah.
Some people might aim to be say exited in 2 years. Some people might aim to expand the infrastructure. Without an aim, you are trying to suicide, right? Same as the saying goes, without a plan, you plan to suicide. The reason behind it is there's so much things that you might not know what's happening behind the scene. And if you just come in the market, compete without an aim, eventually you will fail. I'll share a story. The story is the reason why a lot of seller that can offer a product with such a low margin, there is 3 different way to look at it. The first way is because they don't bother about the margin from e-commerce. They bother what's after the post-purchase. They have already meticulously designed the funnel to come up with a high lifetime value, knowing that if I can convert this guy into a $1 screen protectors, then I will be able to upsell them something in the future, right? And that's something that we can see. Secondly, there's a lot of government subsidies or different kind of subsidies that we don't see, right? A lot of sellers they could offer such a low margin product that you can work around how they can sell that low. It's not because they are selling at a loss, because they have subsidies from different places to try to capture the market share, right? And things like that is not within your country or policy, then that's why you will not understand. And that's why you have to do a very comprehensive research to know if there's a price war. Don't bother to go around about that product. Thirdly, something that we cannot see when it comes to Amazon is it was mind blowing. It's mind blowing. It's money laundering. Right? Okay, so people just want to move money out of the country.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
Imagine the reason if they try to go onto the high street and try to move the money, right? They can't. The high street off the counter, they will say, "I will offer you 50% off. If you pay me 100, I will give you 50 back." So I will give you 50 back in US or in Canada, right? But then on Amazon, they can get only 30% off the counter. After they do the operation, they will get 70% afterward. Right. So that is the unknown thing that not everyone knows about because they just thinking about the country is like buy and sell. You go to China, you buy this and buy that, and then you sell it in Amazon. There's a lot of unknown money that you don't know, and that's why without an aim, you are deemed to fail. Right. That's the 2 cents here. Yeah.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense. Now we're going to move on to our rapid fire segment. In this segment, I'm going to ask you a few quick questions, and you have to answer them maybe in 1 or 2 words or a sentence or so. Do you recommend any books for entrepreneurs? One book recommendation and why?
Oh, there's so much book.
Okay.
Can I give 2 books, please?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I would say for personal development, it's going to be the one thing, right?
Okay.
Yeah, like that. I was like a person about that so strongly about the one thing is going to be helping you to scale your company into next level. If you focus on multiple things, you focus in crypto, you focus on stock, and then you come to property, and as well as like this, right? You want to make sure that you do one thing right first before you move on to the next one. And that's why one thing is very important. And for those who are suffering the procrastination, the one thing will help you take action. Right. And then second one is the breakthrough advertising. Oh my God, that's the most expensive book I've ever bought. It cost me almost like $100 to buy that book, Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. So that book is boring, to be fair, but then it always gives me new idea because we always all of us knows when it comes to marketing, it's all about cold, hot, and warm traffics, right? But then the book was able to educate you as the most fundamental stuff, the basic stuff about marketing that I was never think about that because the way that I learned that was not fundamental. The way that I learned that just from the internet, right? In the past when I was started in uni, right? And that's why whenever I read that book, Breakthrough Advertising, I always learn new things, how to apply new things into my e-commerce brand marketing campaign.
Awesome. I mean, Breakthrough Advertising, yeah, it's a very, very famous book. So yeah, great recommendation there. Also the one thing as well. An innovative product or idea that you currently are excited about? Any product and idea that you're kind of like using or feel excited about?
Okay. AI. Okay, I'm into 3D as well, 3D printing.
Okay.
I'm in 3D printing. And right now AI is just amazing. I have all the solution Midjourney, diffusion, and AI for ChatGPT. All those things, all the solution we have that for the company. And now I'm exploring about how to use AI to create rapid prototyping with 3D printing as well. That is something that is for me. Yeah.
Awesome. So you do 3D printing as well. You have your own 3D printer?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. A business or productivity tool or software that you would recommend, or a productivity tip?
Well, I would say ClickUp and Slack, but that's too generic. What if I would just continue my last sentence as in 3D scanner. Right now, I can use my phone to scan around my product, and then I can just print it. Like, that is the thing that I want to recommend. That is just so mind blowing. Can you imagine how fast is your prototyping gonna be in the future? And I always think that everyone must have a 3D printer at home in the future after 10 years later, so you can just print whatever you want.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know that. You can scan anything and then it will print it.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, it's amazing,
Um,
right?
another startup or business that you think is currently doing great things?
Um, it's gonna be having something that do with AI. I have not much idea about that for that. But then Neuralink, I always want to Neuralink from Elon Musk. I think that kind of thing, because I always think about uh, the way that we learn stuff right now. I read a book like every single week, right?
Hmm.
Like, but I'm not like uh, Bill Gates. He can read a book in a day.
Hmm.
So I was like, how can I do that?
Hmm.
The only excuse that I can think about is I need the Neuralink to put it into my mind so I can learn that much of things in a day, right? So yeah.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I think, Neuralink, it's the idea, maybe, what I don't know if you've seen the movie Matrix. It's like if you want to learn a new language, you basically just download it, right?
Exactly. That's just potential. Yeah, I'm just always so excited about the future. Like I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to die or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
A peer entrepreneur or business person whom you look up to, or someone who inspires you?
Um uh I won't call it a peer because he's so much far behind me, far forward than me, which is Russell Branson. I
Okay.
think Russell Branson was able to leverage the connections and leverage what he knows about to create such a big community and software, and then things that he's investing behind. It's something that like I'm admire. Like it's always like about leveraging, but
Hmm.
not ruining your reputation. Because after you have all those things, then you can leverage so much more afterward.
For sure. Final question. Best business advice that you have ever received or you would give to other entrepreneurs?
Uh, don't go to the mainstream. If you go to the mainstream, as in like if everyone tell you launch your product in this way, launch your product in that way on YouTube, don't trust the guy from YouTube, any
Hmm.
guy, okay? Because they are not the guy who really hands-on
Hmm.
on what he's doing. Even though he's hands-on, uh, he might not using the right path as well. Um, if you ask me for my portfolio right now, if I can achieve what I can do in the past, no, I can't. I could have just done six figures in just like 2 months or 3 months in the past. Right now, to achieve even six figures, not talk about seven figures, I mean, it takes time, at
Hmm.
least like half a year or a year in order
Hmm.
for you to get there. Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Well, Dylan, those were all the questions that I had. Thank you so much. It's been an interesting conversation. Thank you for sharing your story, for sharing about your business and services, how you help your clients achieve success in e-commerce with Amazon and crowdfunding and also building their own brands. So yeah, thank you so much again for joining me today at TrepTalks. If anybody wants to get in touch with you or inquire about your services, what is the best way to do that?
Um, so you guys can just message me on LinkedIn or Instagram, Digital Dylan. Digital Dylan.
Digital
Yeah.
Dylan. Okay. All right, Dylan. Thank you so much again. And yeah, wish you all the very best in your business.
Have a good night.
You too.